Well, it's Tech for Hire. I believe he's going to bore us again with his bullshit.
Hey YouTube, Tech for Hire here. This is the review that I did not want to do. What we have here is the Nuviz heads-up display, and as the title states, it sucks. Before I do any review, we have to understand that what I say sucks is subjective, okay? It's based on my experience with the unit, not anybody else's, quite obviously, okay? Now, let's get down to the good parts, okay? I gotta give you the good as well as the bad. Let's start with the pros. Nuviz is really the only heads-up display out there for motorcycles. It's compact, the battery lasts an extremely long time. I took this out for an hour and a half and it only dropped it down to 80%. So I was doing moto vlogging, so that's video. I was messing around with the Bluetooth, all of these things. So the battery is really good. You have the option to turn the monitor on and off. Why you would turn it on and off, I don't know. It's a heads-up display, so you'll want the heads-up display at all times, at least I would think. Some of you out there, maybe not so much. Me personally, if you buy a heads-up display, you want to see the heads-up display, okay? The heads-up display is nice, it's sharp, it's crisp, it's easy to see. Once you actually get it mounted and angled correctly, you can see it at all times. At night, it actually looks much better than during the day, but during the day, you can still see everything. It's actually really nice. It does 1080p at 30 frames. It's not 60 frames, but 30 frames is plenty fine for the video. Then we have the Bluetooth. You can actually send and receive calls from this unit. You can have your maps. You actually have a map layer to where you can see exactly where you're going, see the street names, all that good jazz. You can also get your music through the Bluetooth speaker system. So, you know, like I said, it's really the only one out there. So beggars can't be choosers. Me personally, for $700, I think they can do a lot better. And here's why. The cons. Where do I begin? You know, it's been a long, stressful journey. Oh, that's good. I really wanted this thing to work out. I honestly did. I had high hopes, high expectations. Maybe I should have lowered some of those. But in any case, I feel it's very valuable for me to give you this review. You need to know why this thing sucks, or at least why I think it sucks. I wrote a list, okay? I only put 10, but I might actually be able to put more. So, what are the main issues with this? So, while this thing is on, your battery indicator is on the lower right-hand corner. When you're recording video and audio, it goes away. Instead of the battery indicator, you have a timer on the bottom right-hand corner. So until you stop recording, you actually have no idea how long your battery is gonna last. Like I mentioned before, it has a really good battery. I recorded for an hour and a half and it only used 20% battery. So take it with what you will, but that's number one. Number two, nighttime recording is atrocious on this unit. With the GoPro, I've done nighttime riding, and it's actually looked pretty good. Mainly, you know, the lights from the cars, the street lights, that gives you enough light on the road. It doesn't wash out. It actually looks pretty good. On this unit, it's very grainy. It's hard to actually see. It's really a pain. I mean, it's unusable for me. Unless I'm in a well-lit area, I'm driving down a street with tons of street lights, I can't use it. I've looked at the video. I can't actually use the video. I wanted to post some stuff earlier. There's just no point. I mean, you can see by this shot right here, it washes everything out. It sucks. That's number two. Number three. It's kind of a two-parter. First of all, it's a 1080p camera, but you can only record in 30 frames. For most people, that's probably going to be perfectly fine. But if you want to do any slow-mo shots, anything like that, stick with the GoPro. You can't actually do that with this one. You can, but you're only slowing down 30 frames, so it's going to be a little bit choppy. So for some people that want to do stuff like that, you might as well not. Consider this more of like a dash cam camera, okay? That's what it's going to be used for. If you get into an accident, who cut in front of you, whose fault was it, that kind of stuff. It just sucks you really can't use it for anything else. The second part to that is when you mount this on your helmet, okay? Let me grab this guy. You mount this onto the front, okay? It's now mounted onto the front of your helmet. When you adjust this to get to the perfect angle to where it looks good in your eye and you can see everything, you see the camera is actually mounted in this piece. You can move the camera up and down, left and right, but you're limited to the motion. So if you have a tendency to look down while you ride, you're actually going to be catching more of the bottom part of your speedometer and your handlebars than actually the road. First time I did a video with this, it did not catch the horizon. So I didn't even post the video because it was useless. People aren't going to want to look at my speedometer the entire time that I'm riding. Unless you have a fetish, there's really no point in that one. Number 4, this does have a GPS map. Once it's loaded onto the camera, you can actually view it in your viewfinder. I said camera, but it's, you know what I meant, heads-up display. Once you load it on the heads-up display through the card that's on the side here, which it doesn't come with, you have to load your own card or get your own card. Once you load it onto the card, then you actually have a GPS map. But it's a horrible map. There's no real easy way to say it. I mean, I get frustrated because I want to not be so brutal to these guys, but at the same time, I want to be honest with you guys. You only have basically a 1-inch screen to view things with. So logically, there's only so much data that you can fit into that screen. The problem that I found is you can't actually read the street names. When you click magnify and you keep clicking magnify, it doesn't actually magnify the names of the streets. So I had a hard time actually reading them. So if you're familiar with the area that you're in and you're just riding around, you're like, oh yeah, I know where I'm at. But if you don't know where you're at, that really sucks. Issue number 5. You can't actually change any of the settings with this device without connecting it to your phone. You have to download the app. It's free, but you have to download the app and connect it to your device. The problem that I was noticing is there's some stuff that's in there that's kind of redundant and I don't understand why. Like the maps. You can load the maps directly to the device, but then you also have an option to download them on your phone. So why would you download them on your phone and then download them on here? Which one are you supposed to use? It's kind of a learning curve, I guess, but it's not very well spelled out in their documentation. Their support sucks. There's really no good way to say it. I mean, I've gone to their website. Click under support. When you click under support, basically it's a fact section. That's it. Like all questions that maybe people have asked before, and you've gotten those responses. There's no community support. There's no forum. There's no area where you can just ask a question. You can submit a question, and I did that when I first got it because in my other video I showed you how you have the mounting options, and one was for a 3/4 inch bar, and on my bike it's a 1-inch bar. So that mounting bracket that I wanted to use, I actually cannot use with my bike. So I sent them an email requesting, hey, do you have any other options? Well, it's been a week and a half, 2 weeks. I have heard nothing. So to me, that's really shitty customer service and support. So definitely got to nail them on that one. Number 7. You can only have one Bluetooth device connected to this at any given time. So Say that you have your cell phone and you want to send and receive calls through your cell phone, or you want to listen to your music. Say you also have an intercom system like a Cena. So you want to use your Cena to do your intercom, but you want to do your phone to receive your calls, but both connect to this. It's not going to work. You would either have to run two microphones, one coming from your Cena and one coming from this unit, or you would have to either not use your phone or not use your Cena and only use one microphone. It says right on their website, you can only connect one Bluetooth device to this at a time. Now, they do often say when you look at their fact page, their support page, that Bluetooth technology is limited, yada, yada, yada. They have no control. Well, that's a bunch of horse shit. My current Samsung phone, as well as my old Samsung phone, I had my car connected to it, I had my watch connected to it, I had my Cena connected to it, and I had a Bluetooth speaker connected to it. I mean, numerous devices connect to Bluetooth. Why this one can only support one at a time? That's another reason why this thing sucks. Reason why this thing sucks, number 8. You cannot receive text messages. That may or may not be a bad thing, and I'll explain why. As I mentioned before, you can't actually view anything on this while you're writing. It's very small text, especially through maps. So depending on how they would set that up, how you would get text messages, how you would read them, how you would respond to them, that kind of thing, that might be an issue. Now, if they made it anything like the phone option, when you actually go to make a telephone call, you can open up an address book and you can see those things and you can respond to them. That seems to work fairly well. Now, this does have speech to text. You can actually say commands into it and it will call people and do things like that. So I don't see why they can't do text to speech for actually texting somebody. Like, hey, I'm on my way. Something like that, pre-programmed. But for some reason, this doesn't support texting. So, number 9, you do not have turn-by-turn navigation. You do and you don't. If you set up a pre-programmed, there's a spot called My Places or My Routes, okay? You have to go in there and set up a destination, point A to point B. When you do that ahead of time and load it onto this unit, then you can actually get turn-by-turn navigation. But if you're just out and about and you're like, hey, I want to see where this restaurant is, I want to go find this restaurant, you can't tell this device, hey, go find restaurants, blah, 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 map that and go there. I tried it a couple times and it didn't work. If that is a feature that they can do, it's certainly not on their website and it doesn't tell you about it. Number 10, the number 10 reason why this thing sucks and why it's not worth $699. Was it 99 cents? I don't know, but basically $700. Why this isn't worth $700? If you got this to be your sole communication device for your phone, to send and receive calls, to also do recording, that way, you know, you only have one device, which is exactly the reason why I got it. There's a problem with this device. The audio sucks. I've done everything I possibly can to adjust the audio, to move the mic, to get a good sound quality. I just can't do it. The mic on this unit sucks incredibly bad. If you are in a stationary position, if you're in my garage and you put your helmet on, you connect this puppy up, and you call somebody, it's crystal clear. As soon as you close your visor or you actually start your motorcycle, the audio gets crackly. It sounds really bad. Here's an example.
It is a battle.
That sucks. I hate it. I've done everything I can to fix that, and there's nothing that I can do. I've tried all sorts of things. What have I tried doing? Here's my helmet. It's very pretty. Little bugs on there. When you go to install the microphone, it tells you should put your microphone right here in front of your mouth. If you put the microphone in front of your mouth, it sounds like shit. It doesn't sound good at all. I tried to install it by putting it lower. I tried to put it off to the side. I put it up towards the top. I've taken the cheek pad off and I've shoved it underneath the cheek pad so it's completely enveloped by the cheek pad. And when I did that, the audio actually sounds pretty good, but that's with the visor open. When I close the visor, it sounds like it did before. It sounds like crap. So unless you're gonna run an open face helmet, which maybe you wanna do, but if you've ever seen somebody in a bike accident and it nearly ripped the front of their face off, I'm running full face helmets, baby. I ain't going anywhere without that, okay? So what's the answer? If you bought the unit from them out of the box, it doesn't work, okay? So everything that I've tried does not work. So it's an ultimate fail at that point. It's useless. You can't ride with it. I went for a ride. I tried to call somebody just to see how the audio was, and they couldn't understand a word that I said. So it is not usable. So if you want to use it for video recording with audio, or using it as a Bluetooth device to attach to your phone so you can make and send and receive calls, you can't use it. It does not function. Now, I went out and bought a replacement earpiece and boom mic, and I'm gonna plug this in and I'm gonna give it a shot and see that if that fixes it. But I shouldn't have to do that. For $700, this son of a bitch should sound awesome, but it doesn't. So that absolutely frustrates me. And that to me is the #1 reason why I cannot recommend this device to anybody. Now, if this works, excellent. These were only like 15 bucks, but that's a serious issue if I have to go out and buy additional equipment to make the $700 equipment work the way it should from the factory. I don't know about you, but when you spend that kind of money, you demand that it works and at least get some support. Like, oh yeah, hey, we know about that. Here's an update. Here's this, here's that. None of that shit from their website. I'm not getting any support from these guys. Well, I just went through my list of top 10 reasons why this Nuviz system sucks. It's really up to you. I mean, you have to decide for yourself. Should I spend $700 on a heads-up display, have audio and video and all that cool stuff, but then when you try to talk into it, it sounds like garbage and nobody can understand you? For me, it's a no-brainer. It does not work for me. At that point, it's a piece of shit. I'm trying one last option. I'm trying these aftermarket boom mic and speakers. If that doesn't work, I'm calling up the manufacturer and I'm returning it because I can't do it. I absolutely can't do it. I can't see me riding around with a heads-up display and not being able to talk into it. It just doesn't make any sense. So there's my rant. There's my review on this puppy. If you have any questions, please comment down below. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe. Please hit the like button. If you want to check out some of my other videos, they're around here somewhere. Have a good night, or day, evening.